Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be doing an email interview reading from Joe Bob Briggs. Yes, Joe Bob Briggs, who hosted Drive-In Theater on the movie channel back in the 80s, and then he hosted Monster Vision on TNT in the 90s, which was my introduction to him. And I tried to get him for an interview on the show, but he's extremely busy. He's doing a shitload of interviews while promoting his new show, which will be on the internet. He's going to be hosting something, I think a Friday the 13th marathon or something on next Friday the 13th. And so, so here is my internet email interview with Joe Bob Briggs. All right, question number 1. What was the first horror film you saw as a child? Wow, okay, all the way back. The first one I can remember is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Many years later, I met Betty Davis, and I was still scared to death of her. Question number 2. How did you get to host Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater and Monster Vision? The movie channel hired me to be a guest host for 4 weekends, and I didn't leave for 11 years. TNT hired me 2 months after I got fired by the movie channel to do the exact same show, but with commercial breaks. Question number 3. Were the shows done live? They were live on tape. No retakes. All the mistakes were left in. And I always knew exactly where we were in the movie. The guests didn't like this format. The no retake rule scared them. Question number 4. How did you come up with the term aardvarking as a sexual term? Well, I had to find something because all of the other ways of saying it were banned. I used to invent no-nonsense words anytime I was told I couldn't say something in print or on the air. Sometimes my nonsense words would even turn up in the banned words list. Question number 5. I can't remember. Oh, wait. I'm always reading the answers first. Sorry. Question number 5. Did you ever show Night of the Comet? I can't remember for sure whether it was on either of the shows, but I definitely reviewed it when it first came out and have loved it ever since. I've hosted it at the Alamo Draft Houses all over the country and have had on stage with both Kelly Maroney and Catherine Mary Stewart to sing its praises. One of my favorite 80s films. Question number 6. Because you did double feature episodes, would you just be exhausted by the end of the show with all the segments? The shooting schedules were pretty brutal. Yes, it was kind of exhausting. Question number 7. Who was the toughest interview you had on Joe Bob Briggs's Drive-In Theater and or Monster Vision? The toughest ones are the people who don't seem to want to be there. Robin Leach wasn't much fun. Neither was Anne Francis. If you get into the playful spirit of the show, the segment dies. If you don't get into the segment, is what he meant. Question number 8. How did you get cast in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2? I wasn't really cast. It was a spur-of-the-moment decision by Toby Hooper to stick me in the movie. I was hanging out on the set in order to do an article for Rolling Stone magazine on Dennis Hopper and Kit Carson, screenwriter, took me over to meet Toby in his trailer, and Toby said, "Oh, you're the guy that always writes about my movies." I said, "Yes, I was." And so he told Kit to get with me and write a scene. We wrote and shot 2 scenes, but they were taken out of the film about 2 weeks before its release. Toby was apologetic, but I didn't care. It made absolutely no sense for me to be in the film in the first place. The scenes were available as extras on one of the DVD releases. Question number 9. The day TNT canceled you, was that the happiest or saddest day of your life? Certainly the saddest for me. Well, thanks, Tommy. It was one of those things that was totally anticlimactic. They had been monkeying around with the show, making me move from Texas to Hollywood, making me use mainstream movies, insisting on having a bunch of guests, and so it looked like I wasn't fitting into the new We Know drama, rebranded TNT. I was pissed, though, because they didn't let me do a farewell show. And I was actually getting off of a train in Oakland when my agent called and said the show was canceled. They didn't even bother to tell me in person. Just did it through an agent. Television is cold. It certainly is, Joe Bob. Now, question number 2, question number 10, last question. Do you have any advice for aspiring horror hosts like myself? Number 1, always make the show about the movie. Meaning, don't fall in love with your own performance. And number 2, love the fans. They will love you back. I can't tell you how many times I've been in trouble with the high sheriffs, and the fans have saved me. Do whatever they want and need always their fuel and your inspiration and your livelihood. Well, there you have it. Joe Bob Briggs. Ain't he a cool dude? Thank you so much, Joe Bob. You are fucking awesome and so cool, and it was such an honor, and I hope I get to interview you in person or meet you in person at a convention one day soon. And I wish you the best of luck on your new show. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.